guys, my name is Grace, and I've been a volunteer with FLOC for the last 4 years. Before that, I was a teacher, and one of the things I miss the very most is reading books to kiddos like you guys. So today, I'm going to read you one of my favorite books, Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. It's written by Andrea Beaty and illustrated by David Roberts. And it's a story about a little girl who's in 2nd grade, and she wants to see some change in her town, and realizes that that change might have to start with her. So I'm going to try to make sure you guys can see the pictures because the illustrator is really talented. Sophia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. There's Sophia and her dad. He's so proud of her. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out and about on their own and with no place to gather were stuck home alone. Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends and her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sophia liked better. Look at her. Helping out her neighbors. Okay, I'm gonna turn this so you guys can see it. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl, except for that Tuesday when Pup saw a squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over, under, beneath, and around. Sophia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing Pup. There's Sophia, and there's her Abuelo, which is a grandfather. Up the squirrel ran to the top of a hill, made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip-top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Oh no, that is a lot of trash. Let's see what happens next. Down they all tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. Gross. Ouch, cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. A dangerous mess, he said, grasping her hand. Yikes. The next day, Sophia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her Abuelo. This is not right, declared young Sophia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. I wonder what she's thinking. The very next morning at dawn, she planted a sign at the front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park. Wow. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for trees. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by a quarter till dark. Look at her just writing down everybody's ideas. She's listening. I'm gonna hold it this way so you guys can see the picture. She drifted to sleep in a soft, cozy bed. Then, bam, she woke up with a thought smacked her head. Her heart skipped a beat, and she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia could build it alone. But how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she lay wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm and the gloomy sky wept, and the heartsick Sophia finally slept. I think it's a lot of pressure to think you need to do it alone. Okay, hold up the picture. There's Abuelo and Sofia again. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bag full and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sofia. For courage, he whispered, Te amo mi vida. Sofia's knees wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sofia Valdez went to face City Hall. Wow. Check out that illustration. There's little Sofia. And City Hall looks so daunting. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do. To the office of monkeys, the Department of Cheese, the division of fountains and meetings and bees. Then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else did. You can't build a new park. You're only a kid. Oh, she must feel so discouraged. I wonder what she's gonna do. The word smacked Sofia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. I think, said Sofia, I think this law is wrong. But her second grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said, clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions? Sofia said, 1. If you were me and I was you, and he was your grandpa, what would you do? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. Ooh. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sofia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack. At that moment, and that was the moment when Sofia first knew, being brave means doing the thing you must do, though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. Wow. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sofia started talking. She spelled out her plan and why it all mattered and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other ideas for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And I want to show you guys the picture before I show you what happens next. There she is with all her ideas that she drew out. Rubber duck pond. There's a basket for bees. Ooh, a fountain. And then she says, I love cheese. Maybe a fountain of cheese? Cheese for everyone. A zoo library. Lona Llama. That'd be a cool program. Let's hear what they thought of our idea. So I'll read you the last part and then I'll carry it over. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And, all right, cried the mayor, go start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission. Wow. And so young Sofia got right to work, and with some help from her family and pup and the clerk. Look, the clerk who first told her it couldn't be done is now holding a sign that says a park for everyone. Sofia wrote a sign, said, let's build a park. And there's Abuelo, sign our petition, please. And my favorite, there's pup. Bark for parks. Wow, look at the whole town. Then others joined in, not all but a few, like Miss Lila Greer and the kids in grade 2. Wow, check that out. It all started with one person having an idea. Now everybody's on board. Lots of words on this one. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, then bulldozers, cranes, and a blue bigger digger. They all built that park. That's how it got done, with the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of just one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold this truth to be self-evident, that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, that real life go-getter, helps Blue Creek River get better and better. Oh, I just love that story. All it takes is one person to have an idea and start to change things. Thanks for spending the morning with me, you guys. Happy Friday. Stay safe and have a great weekend.